Hey everybody, hi. Oh my gosh, the heater in my studio just came on and started blowing paper all over the place. Oh well, add that to the list of things I should remember to turn off. Oh well, that's fine. How is everybody tonight? Hi Janice, welcome. Good to see you. Wasn't Angie's painting beautiful tonight? So fun to see her go through all of that, work through all the processes and the steps. Was just amazing. Oh, I can't believe what are we. Today is the 16th. Hi, Gloria. The 16th. Tomorrow is my 44th wedding anniversary. Whoa! 44 years. Yep. That'll be something fun. My grandkids will be here. My son-in-law had asked us to watch the kids so he could take our daughter out to dinner kind of as a surprise because he's had to travel some, and just before all the holidays he wanted to surprise her. And so today we stopped to pick up a exercise ball on the way back so I could do some of my therapy things, and Bob said something about our anniversary. He goes, "You didn't have to say you'd watch the kids." And I looked at him. I said, "What are we gonna do? Go dancing? You know, seriously? No, it's not like we're gonna go out and about. We have these funny little traditions for our anniversary. Bob usually gets me a pair of socks, various theme socks. Last year he got me these socks that have otters on them. Yeah, because I was going to go photograph otters with arts down in sea otters, and I did that. So they've always had some kind of a theme. Well, now I have so many socks that my drawers are kind of like overflowing, and so kind of had to do that. But I lose gloves all the time. I'm always losing gloves. So I said, instead, just give me a bucket of gloves. So I think that's what I'm getting instead. That's my new thing. Instead of socks, it's gloves. And for him, it's just usually he gets something that he wants and then tells me that that's my anniversary present to him. we're so funny as a couple. It's just, hi Angie. So yes, fun socks. Oh my gosh, I have the funnest socks. I have wolf socks for when we went to see when we were going to go to the Winter Wolf Expedition in Yellowstone. I have my bear socks, of course, from when I've gone to see bears. I have dragon socks all over the place. I have all different kinds of things. We do, yeah, it's pretty fun. So, gosh, we have Angie here and Janice and Gloria. Angie, we were saying how pretty it was, your piece tonight in your pouring, and that split cup was something. Bob was watching and he was like, how, wait, she has so much paint. You made him stammer. He was like, what? You know? And it was pretty fun. But yeah, on our way back from physical therapy today, I thought I saw the Fisher Scones truck, and we pulled in to see if it was there, because sometimes out here on the Key Peninsula there's a Fisher Scones truck and you see it once in a while. And I went to grab it and it wasn't the Scones truck. It was another truck painted red. I was like, bummed. So I got home, and of course after the drive to the doctor appointment, which was an hour and a half each way in the car, so much fun, not. And they took off my zip ties on my knees. I came home and proceeded to crash. Literally, just, I was out. And while I was out, my amazing cook, chef of a husband, got his Paul Hollywood cookbook out and decided to make scones for me. And yes, they're quite nummy. Quite nummy. Yeah, Bob, whenever he watches you guys with all that paint and some stuff, he's like, his eyes get huge. And then when Layla and I are, of course, doing our stuff that we do, we just kind of go with pure abandon and whatever she feels like. Uh, yes, he's a keeper. 44 years tomorrow we will have been married. And let's see, we met 47 years ago in October. Yeah, past October. I was a freshman and he was a senior. Yep. Oh, yes. Paul Hollywood is, yeah, Great British Baking Show. We're kind of obsessed. I'm not so much obsessed with the baking, but the eye candy is nice. Oh, Gretchen, behave. So, today, as we were on our trip to Kirkland from our house, like I said, it's about an hour and a half to go to the doctor's, and we were there, got done, and got the zip ties taken off, and we were heading back, and it was perfect timing because we were outside of traffic times, and we had carpool lanes. There was a big sign on the side of the road before you get to the interchange between 405 and I-90. And I-90 is, a east-west highway that goes clear across the country, but, starts over here in Seattle. And it said, chains required on I-90. And I went, oh, chains are required. That's kind of like, because that's the main crossway across the country, across the state. And it said, yeah, chains required or all-wheel drive, but you must carry chains anyway. The law in the state is that even if chains are not required, or if it's just all-wheel drive required, you still have to have chains in the car if you're going to go over one of our mountain passes. And it's funny because people will buy chains at different places, and then the different places that you buy them from will take them back at the end of the year, into the season, if they've never been used. But yeah, you get a refund. It's hilarious. But so that made me think, and so I was looking at something else, and along the way, and coming back, I was kind of, when you're sitting in the car and your body kind of aches, you have to look at other things. And then it said how much snow there had been so far this year at Snoqualmie Pass, which Snoqualmie Pass is our lowest pass over the mountains, and not that high. And there's been 70 inches so far, and I was like, okay. And it always made me think of when I grew up. Angie, chains, love snow. So when I was growing up, I think I might have mentioned I lived out in the country, and I drove about 18 miles into school, and my home was about 1,500 feet higher elevation than my school. So my dad often would have to say, get up, get going early, you got to put chains on so you can get out the driveway. I'm going to plow the driveway, but you still need to make it down the hill and across the flats and up the dump hill and into town, and stop along the way and take the chains off. Not the cable chains that we have these days, but those big old honkin' like metal chains. God, they were a pain to put on. And my car always had to have, Dad would spot check. I had to have a tarp. I had to have coveralls. I had to have blankets. I had to have flares. I had to have everything I needed in case I had to put on chains. I had to have bags of sand. I had bags of sand and a shovel in my car in order to, in case I had to dig myself out, because, there were no cell phones, and I always had to have a dime at first and then a quarter for a payphone if I had to walk to make a call. So I saw this, and it made me kind of think about what I wanted to share. And there's a book called The Snow Tree that talks about this, and it was really, about the snow and everything and how much I love snow. But then I thought, a lot of these guys are not here in Washington, so they, everybody thinks of Washington as rain, and that's it. There's rain, and they think we have two seasons. We have the rainy season and non-rainy season, but Washington is really very different. And so I'm going to do something really different before I start the story, and you guys can pour your wine and giggle your heinies off because I'm going to draw. which is pretty funny. So, there it is. I have a drawing pad right here. See, so first thing I'm going to try to do is draw like the state of Washington, and it comes down here, goes over. It's pretty square. It's not too hard to draw. Oops. Careful how you're drawing, Gretchen. You draw things that looks quite weird. Careful. Okay. Yeah, that's the state of Washington, sort of. All right. So up here is Canada. And then here is Vancouver Island. And that's part of Canada. Okay. Over here is Idaho to our east. Down here is Oregon to the south. And here is the Pacific Ocean. I live right about here. Okay. And Seattle is probably, let's see, Tacoma is probably right about here. Seattle is probably right about here. Bellingham is up here. Portland is right down here. Okay. Kind of got that. You got that? Thank you. You can thank Mrs. Federley, my second grade teacher. She did the coolest thing. She had us do the entire United States in paper mache. It started on my love of geography. Anyway, Washington's pretty easy to do. So the trick about Washington, let's start, is that we're all Pacific Ocean here, all along here. And then this is in through Puget Sound. Is all water. And I live at the tip of the southern tip of the Kepy Peninsula, which is surrounded by water. Vancouver Island goes up here. Canada goes on up here, like that way. All water. Okay, so we've got water all on that side. The other part that's cool is the water, is that there's water all along here, and that's the Columbia River that splits Oregon and Idaho and Washington, and about, well, I'd say about here, the Columbia River turns and goes this way, up, splits the state again. And then coming down here, the border between Idaho and Oregon and Washington, which don't hold me to this geographically, is the Snake River. Hell's Canyon is over here. That thing that Evel Knievel tried to jump at one time. Yeah, seriously, man. So that's kind of our water situation. But the thing that makes it so spectacular in Washington is the mountains that we have. So you've heard me talk about the Olympic Mountains and the Hoh Rainforest. Those are these little guys that, this is called the Olympic Peninsula, this part right here. And they go, they get smaller and smaller down here. And then they pick up again with the coastal range in Oregon. So we have some mountains here, Hurricane Ridge and stuff all along here. There. And then Seattle's here. Then we have the Cascades, and they are bigger. And they come along and take all the way down. All the way down. They keep going and they connect up with like the Sierra Nevadas, I think, or the Trinity Alps. Anyway, in California. So they come all along down there. And in them, you have some pretty spectacular things. Let's see, what color shall I do them? I'll do them. You have up toward the top up here, probably Bellingham's about here, so probably right about here in the middle of these mountains that are quite wide, actually, big wide mountain range. So, and then over here on Idaho, we have the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. Okay, this is all going to make sense to go with what I'm talking about when it comes to the snow. All right, so up here we have Mount Baker. Okay, and Mount Baker is about 10,000 feet, 10,700. Come south of, then there's Glacier Peak in here, someplace in here. Then about here is the big fella, Mount Rainier, at 14,400. Then about here is the guy that popped his top and is only 8,000 now, Mount St. Helens. And then sitting out about over here at 12,000 is Mount Adams. And then right down here in Oregon is Mount Hood. And then they keep going big. You get Mount Bachelor and all that. So these are not small little mountains at all. And they make a significant difference about what happens with this. So now, how do you get from this side to that side of the state when you're traveling? Well, you can, if you're in Seattle or Tacoma, most everybody travels across I-90. Okay, so there's Mount Rainier. It goes on this side of Mount Rainier, and it goes across this way. It goes all the way across country. That is I-90. Not exactly in the right spot. Up here is Highway 2, the Stevens Pass Highway. Okay, that's not bad. But it's only 2-lane. It's got a ski area on it. It's only 2-lane. And it goes through Leavenworth, which is very cool, but it also goes through Icicle Creek and some really high areas. Up here, you've got the Mount Baker Highway, or North Cascades Highway that goes along. And then south of Rainier, or around this side of Rainier, it comes around actually, comes this way, is Highway 410, the Chinook Pass Highway, and then just as this side of Mount Adams is White Pass Highway. And then there's nothing until you get down here to Oregon, and you want to go either to Oregon onto the main road, I-84, on Oregon side, or you take a smaller road on the Washington side that goes along the Columbia 14. So, what happens in the winter? Because let me tell you a little bit. So, the water comes in, the moisture comes in, it hits the Cascade Mountains, it dumps. We get 180 to 200 inches of rain a year in the Hoh Rainforest along there. Just last month they had 43. Then it comes across here to Seattle and are rainy, and we get probably 35 to 40 inches a year, sometimes maybe more. Not that much really, but we get it in this area. And then it hits the Cascades. And any moisture that is picked up hits the Cascades, and it dumps there, because in eastern Washington, the total number of inches of rain a year is 8, where I grew up, which was right about, let's see, I grew up right about here. Okay, maybe someplace in that area. Okay? Eastern Washington is a desert. It is all wheatlands. The Palouse is there, which is called the Tuscany of Washington. It's beautiful farmlands, orchards and whatnot, but irrigation is what supplies all of those things. It is a total desert without the irrigation. Compared to the amount of rain we get on the west side of the mountains, they are two completely different places. This side of the mountains, the eastern side, has 4 distinct seasons. You can wake up and feel when it has become summer to fall, and you know. And for you get snow, you get spring, you get summer, you get fall, you get 110 in the summer, you get minus 15 in the winter sometimes, and in between. Here we don't really do that a lot over here. We kind of have 2 seasons. and the snow over here in western Washington, when it snows, everybody freaks out if there's a half an inch of snow or an inch, and it's big wet ploppers and nothing. Over here, it's like my dad would say, put on the chain, go put your chains on. It snowed a foot last night, but it's dry and fluffy. But here's the trick with this thing about the highways getting across. I wanted to share this. If you guys ever come out here. So North Cascades Highway, beautiful national park up here. North Cascades Highway is open from, say, April to November 1st, if you're lucky. So right now it is closed. There's no way to get across there. There's 20 feet of snow up there already, sometimes. Highway 2, well, yeah, it can open and close. Whew. It can open and close. You can get through, but I've gotten caught in snow slides where I was really glad we'd stopped and turned around and decided not to go because it closed up the pass and can get kind of crazy. So it's really hard. It's oftentimes chains required, and it's and it's not as well traveled. I-90 is the main travel spot. Right now it has chains required. It was closed the other day. We've had a lot more of that happening. Chinook closed. It usually closes by Halloween, and it does not open again until sometime the 1st of May. Yeah, it's right there, catching all Mount Rainier. White Pass, I grew up skiing up here on White Pass. My dad helped start a ski area up there, but it's a 2-lane highway that is a mountain pass highway that is not a lot of fun to drive if you aren't familiar with the road. So otherwise, if you want to get around, if the roads are closed, it's happened in the winter that if the roads are closed here and you're in Seattle and you want to get to eastern Washington, I have had to leave here and go all the way down I-5, go around, and come back up to see my sister. Makes what can be a 3-hour drive from here to here a 6-hour drive. It takes about 6-7 hours to drive across the whole state from coast to Idaho. Not that big a deal. But I wanted to, I talk about Washington a lot, and I know you guys, hi Sammy. I wanted to show that a little bit about how different it is and how many different things that you can see and how diverse it is. So when people think of Washington being all rain and that, it's not really. It is quite different. Just alone, I mean, this area right here with the Puget Sound. If you lived over here and you worked in Seattle, you can take the bridge across here if you want. From my house, go there. You could take ferries across the water, several different places. There's commuter ferries that hold about 300 boats, 300 cars, I mean, and they go back and forth all day long. There's a ferry that's opening up again to go to Canada, the Black Ball. And up here is the most farthest northwest point in the United States. It's on the Macaw Reservation, and it's called Cape Flattery, and it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. But, all right, that's my little trivia. Wasn't that interesting? The roads closed. The Saturday Night Live. Oh, that would be funny to see. Yeah. It's one of those things that people would always, would say, like, why do you have this stuff in the back of your car? I mean, I always had to carry a can opener, a church key, and a can of oil before they had screw-tops. And I was the only kid in high school who had a church key in her car, a can opener, bottle opener. Well, it wasn't because so I could go to the kegers and be the one who could open things. No, it was because in case I was stuck someplace out, if I was driving to the lower valley or something like that and my car overheated or I needed oil or something like that, I had to have water. I had to have, Dad made sure that there was all those kind of things because you're kind of out there. And it just was one of those things that I got used to doing. And, but I digress. That's a whole lot of stuff about um, Washington that, I wanted you to know a little bit about my home and what's so special about it. Yay, Angie, I would love to have you come out here too. It's pretty spectacular. Hi, Sammy. I'm so glad you're here. So anyway, tonight's story, back on my uh, track of what I'm saying, and I brought, I was going to do some bells, so bring some bells for you. Little Christmas bells. You hear them? My grandfather's Christmas bells. So tonight's story is called The Snow Tree. And it's funny that I picked this before I even watched Angie's. I was late didn't see Mina's live because I was getting this all set up. And then I get on and there's Angie's. And it's the colors that this book talks about. What I love about this book is it covers so many different aspects of art. It includes texture, it includes color. It just has it's a great short little fun book. And I know my grandkids are, when they're little especially, they love it because they love to rub their hands on it because it has texture on the inside. And I'll show you that. So everybody, what's not working? Oh, something. There we go. Let's fix that. There, you can see me now. I hadn't noticed that. I suppose I could have. All right. Let's see what this book has to say. This is The Snow Tree. It's Join Little Bear's Search for Color in a White and Wintry World. And like I said, Angie did her pour, and I was like, oh my gosh. The colors are just right up there. Yeah, the illustrations are really beautifully well done. And what I like too about it is that, except for the one animal, the reindeer that's in it, I could go out and if I took a little bit of patience, could into our mountains or hills find all of them. I just would have to replace the reindeer with an elk because we don't have any reindeer down here. Anyway, The Snow Tree, written by Carolyn Repchuk. See, these are the cool, it has little embossing all over it so that the bear is all, you can feel the bear on him, and it's just so cool. Oh, my pens. This there you can see. There we go. Little Bear woke, and the world was white. Where have all the colors gone? He cried, for he had never seen such a white and wintry world before. But the wind only answered with silence. Then out of the snow came Lynx. He held orange leaves in his mouth. For the snow tree, he explained, so we will remember the warm glow of fall and burning sunset of an evening sky. Next came Squirrel. She carried scarlet berries and laid them softly at Little Bear's feet. They glistened like drops of blood against the snow. To remind us of fruits and flowers from the forests and fields, she said. Blue Jay flew down with feathers held firmly in his beak. It's all I have to give, he said, but these feathers are as blue as the summer sky and rolling waters of the rivers. From deep inside the frozen forest, mink appeared. Nature's finest, she declared, adding velvet fur to Bear's collection, brown like the rich earth beneath the snow. Little Bear looked up as Raccoon came, padding softly through the snow and spread fresh green shoots before him. My offering is to remind us of the green spring, of new life after the sleep of winter. Reindeer moved slowly forward through the snow, with purple rock piled high upon his back. Here is color that will endure forever, he said, as purple as the mountains and the rolling clouds of thunder. Bunting alighted on a nearby branch, laden down with yellow cones. I carried all I could, she said, so we won't forget the yellow corn that grows all summer long in the fields beyond the forest. Arctic fox brought icicles that sparkled silver in the frosty light like raindrops in the sunlight. It is time to decorate the snowy tree, she said, and you, Little Bear, will guard this tree all winter long. Your black fur will remind us of night's velvet darkness. Last of all came Moose. A bright golden star hung gleaming at his neck. Set this star high upon that tree, he proclaimed. Let its light shine out to all the creatures of the forest, that they may gather to celebrate the glory of nature and the beauty of peace and friendship this Christmas time. Little Bear smiled as he stood gazing at the glorious tree. The colors were back. Just love that. I just love this. This is one of those that when I read to my grandkids, they say, again, 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 again. And it's one that you can read. It doesn't matter how old. I mean, I'm a proponent. I could always tell kids that were read to at home when they came into my classroom, and those kids who hadn't been. Kids who had been read aloud to, always understood the rhythm of language. They learned to read easier. They knew what a period, how to when they were trying to read, how to stop there. They understood voice inflection and would try. Kids who'd never heard reading, had never been read aloud to, just didn't get that. They hadn't had that. And this is the type of thing that even a little one, I mean, I'm going to take this down with me for New Year's so that I can read it to Rory. She'll love it. She's 8 months old and she just loves books, but this will be something that she'll be able to touch and feel. Again, again, again. I know, isn't that great? Again, again, again. Nothing's better than when you can have a book read by your grandkids come back and say, again, again, again. But this is by Carolyn Repchuk, and it's just one of those really special kind of books that I thought, when I picked it out, I thought, oh, yay, I forgot how wonderful this is. So simple, and yet so beautiful in so many ways, and can appeal to, a reader or a listener or someone who's just hanging out at your lap for a good story time. So that's what I had to share tonight. And let's see. Oh, I'm there. Let's go back to this. Can I go back there? There we go. Okay. Whew. So, anyway, they matched Angie's. Don't you think they matched Angie's colors in her pour? That was just so serendipitous. That was kind of funny. So tomorrow night I'll be back. I'm not, you know, since it's the 17th, it's my anniversary, I'll probably read 17 Kings and 42 Elephants. Not because it's a Christmas story, but because it has the number 17 in it, and that's my favorite number, and it's just a fun tongue-tie kind of book that's kind of a fun thing to read and has pretty amazing colors too. But until then, I hope you guys have a cheery night and have enjoyed story time. Oh, moose. Yeah, the moose. Yeah, like I said, the moose I could see. I have seen moose in the wild at Yellowstone. I've seen them in eastern Washington. I'm up near Spokane. I've seen pictures of them there, so I could go find them around here. Elk are pretty abundant. Deer in my backyard if I needed to, but red squirrels, all those guys, little bears, little black bear. Yeah, I can find those pretty easily around here. So all these, and the lynx are the hardest. They're a very secretive animal, and they're very difficult to find and photograph. And yeah, that'll get on my list. So anyway, let me see. They totally matched. Oh, thank you for this. You're welcome, Janice. They totally matched. Yes. Yay, yay, yay. So I'm very pleased. Anyway, you guys, it's been a delight. I'm going to go try to torture myself with a couple of exercises. Keep your fingers crossed. That's why I'm sipping the wine, to make it a little easier. I don't know if that's the right therapy approach, but I'm going to go with it. Oh, well. Anyway, you guys, until the next time, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. Check the mirror first, because that's where you'll see it looking right back at you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.